If you can't go left, you can always try right. If you can't go right, you can always try forward. But no matter what you do, we'll always create a memory because you are special.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of RBV, the Milestone Whisperers. I'm your host, Dr. Rashida, and today is an up-close and personal conversation because in honor of Women's Health Month, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my health journey, my most recent health journey. And a milestone that I recently accomplished was being able to complete a full Zumba class. And that may sound crazy, but man, and over the past couple years, I've been suffering with chronic iron deficiency anemia, and Zumba, which is what I love to do when I go to the gym, was one of those things that was challenging for me. So just a quick disclaimer, because I'm Dr. Rashida, but I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. So I just want to encourage anyone that's listening to this or watching this episode, that if you feel something is off with your body, listen to your body and seek medical attention from your primary care doctor or any specialist that you may need to see. And also, another thing is that these symptoms or these changes that I saw were that I'm going to talk about or what I saw in my body. That doesn't mean that if you see these same changes that you have iron deficiency anemia, or even that these things that I saw were related to that, but these are changes that I saw with my body. So just keep that in mind, that this is my journey, my experience, but I hope that me sharing how I worked through it will help other people on their journeys and to complete a milestone like the Zumba class, like I did, something meaningful like that, because you have to listen to your bodies, especially us as women who wear so many different hats, and just, you know, if we're moms 24/7, you know, and a lot of times our self-care and our health take a back burner because we are the nurturer and the caregiver for so many other people. So just keep that in mind, that self-care is important. So let's talk about iron deficiency anemia and my experience with it. So when I was growing up, I've always had like low to normal hemoglobin, but nothing serious, nothing that warranted me to take iron supplements or to be followed by a specialist or anything like that. My parents always made sure that we ate a well-balanced meal, meaning protein and green leafy vegetables and things like that. So I never had problems with that. The first time that I discovered that I had iron deficiency anemia was with my first pregnancy. And at that time, I was 30 when I got pregnant with my first son, and went for my initial blood work, and I was very anemic, and my hemoglobin was like 5.6 or something like that. It was at the transfusion level. And I worked and during this time I worked in acute care, so I knew exactly what a hemoglobin of that level meant. It was a miracle that I was able to walk around and function. But I just attributed to me being newly pregnant, and it was my first pregnancy, so I just thought that fatigue was related to that. But it comes out to be that I was severely anemic, and so I was put on iron supplements, and I was told to take in more protein. So I was doing liver, which I actually, when I ate red meat, liver wasn't bad. I grew up eating liver. Liver smothered in gravy with onions. My mom used to hook that up. But I always loved spinach. And I took the iron supplements, and turns out I didn't need to get a blood transfusion or iron infusion or anything like that. And my numbers progressed well during my pregnancy, and even when I gave birth, I didn't need any blood. So that was good. Fast forward, progressed throughout motherhood. I got pregnant with my second son when my first son was a little over 1. So I had them, kind of close together. But at that point, I knew how to manage. I knew what to do to prophylactically to prevent myself from being anemic. So my numbers were good with my second son. And I even had a C-section with him, and my numbers were good. I didn't need blood. With my daughter, the same thing. With my daughter, I was a little bit older. So I was 36 when I had her. And that's considered a geriatric pregnancy, which is crazy because I was still young to me, but yeah, so I had like other testing and things with her, genetic testing because I was older. And she clearly came out fine, thank God. But yeah, my hemoglobin was fine. All my numbers were fine. So fast forward, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I'm from Philadelphia. My hometown is Philadelphia. Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018. My daughter had just turned 2. We had a whole bunch of meat at that Super Bowl party. And I told my husband, if the Eagles win all this meat, we're going to like give up meat for a while. I don't even know why we did that. At that time, my husband didn't eat red meat anyway. But so my daughter hadn't had a lot of exposure to meat because she had literally just turned 2. So she hadn't eaten a lot of meat in her life. Anyway, my boys loved pepperoni pizza, and I loved bacon, pork bacon at that. But, we tried being pescatarian, and that was in 2018. All the way till now, we've been doing well with being pescatarians. But here's the thing. I didn't take any extra protein into my diet besides just regular green leafy vegetables. We eat a lot of beans, but nothing extra. I don't like scrambled eggs or breakfast eggs. I'll eat a boiled egg in a salad, but it's not something that I eat often. I don't like tofu. So I didn't know that I wasn't getting enough protein and iron into my diet. But fast forward, 2020, COVID hits, high stress, like no other. I never knew this type of stress. Being a stay-at-home mom at this point, being on quarantine, I was doing telehealth. I had 1 kid in 3rd grade, 1 kid in 1st grade, and a really busy, newly 4-year-old that was used to going to daycare, and then I had to entertain. So at this time, 2020, COVID, it was a stressful time for all of us. I started noticing slight changes to my body. So I tried to be super active. My family did, and I spoke about this in a previous podcast. I led what's called family fitness with my family. So we would get on a video app, various ones, because at that time we weren't really familiar with Zoom. So we were either FaceTime or do some free conference call. Like we were find ways to get on video chats, but we would work out. So that's how we as a family, as an extended family, and my home family, we try to stay active. But I started to notice I started craving ice, and I was cold all the time. And backtracking, when I was like a teenager and like young adult, when I was in college, I did used to eat a lot of ice, me and my mom. And my mom, turns out has chronic anemia as well. But we used to eat a lot of ice. But when I moved out and I started living on my own, I did used to eat ice in the hospital because hospital ice is yummy to me. But it wasn't terrible. In retrospect, I did used to seek out certain floors had like the better ice machine. So I did used to seek it out. But during COVID, when I was just home and just stressed, just overwhelmed with life and just, as all of us were during that time, I used to eat ice like it was, I used to compare it to like how people that drink or people that smoke, would take a puff of cigarette and they would just like feel good about it, or take a sip of a drink, and just like, it would just relax them. That's what ice did to me. And I would be so cold and I would have like a space heater and I would be bundled up, but I just needed that ice. And during COVID, like more and more ice. Like I had a certain blender that was specifically just for my ice to blend, and everyone knew not to touch it. I had like a whole shelf in the freezer where I would like blend up the ice, because I didn't like ice cubes. I didn't like the Spencer ice. I had to have it like snow. So it had to be perfect. I went through so many different ice blenders and everything, to satisfy this habit. But also, my hair started to get gray, like a lot. And like my mom grayed early. So I knew that maybe that was genetic, that I was going gray early, but, it was like really growing, gray a lot. But I just said, oh, mama, I gray early from my mom, that's okay, because I got a young face, and I'm youthful. But once I started going back to work in person, that was even more stressful, because my kids were back in school. My daughter, when I started going like full time, my daughter had finally started kindergarten. But a lot of my clients were still telehealth. So I had to like manage being a wife, which in a future episode, my husband and I would talk about like how things challenged us in our marriage, but that's for another conversation. But being a mom and being a very busy independent contractor physical therapist, being like an early intervention in Philadelphia is very busy. Oh my goodness, the demand for early intervention is like no other. So I was busy, and I worked with 3 different agencies, and I had like over 40 cases, because I just like, after I was able to go back out and not be like stuck in the house, I was taking on so many cases. And I was working crazy. I had like in person, and then I would have a telehealth, and then I have in person. I was in my car doing Zoom sessions, and I was going to the playground, meeting people, having sessions like that. And I was just burnt out. And I started to notice about 2 years ago that I was starting to get more and more tired. Like my energy levels just started to deplete. But I just attributed it to life, because life was lifing. Oh my goodness. My kids started getting back into their sports. So we had to manage that, juggle all that. At that point, I had started in my 40s. So like my hormone levels started changing. Come to find out, I'm in perimenopause. Like I started noticing changes to my menstrual cycle, where it would be sporadic or would be absent for like, a month here and there. So like all these changes to my body. But I was just on the go. So I wasn't getting a check. I just was going with the flow. Last year, I guess around the springtime, so about a year ago, I started noticing that I couldn't keep up with my clients that were like toddler age or like preschool, and we would have sessions at the playground or at the park. I couldn't keep up with them. And I used to be the PT that would go up on the slide, down the slide. I would just run around with them. I would be on the floor, up and down, off the floor. I would go out with my kids to the playground. I would do Zumba. That was my outlet, and I was getting tired, and I was not able to keep up. What really started to challenge me was the fact that even in my house, going up the steps, I would be winded. Sometimes I would like bend over to get something off the floor, like my phone off the charger, or pick up something, and I would get dizzy and lightheaded. And at the same time, my menstrual cycle would sometimes be like longer than regular. And so that prompted me to go to urgent care. Now, mind you, even though I'm in the medical field, I am not the best at keeping up with my own health, which please don't do that. Yes, I ended up having to go to urgent care because my cycle was like on for almost 2 weeks, and I was starting to feel more and more fatigued. So they did blood work, and my hemoglobin was like 6. So the nurse practitioner called me right away and was like, "I recommend that you get a blood transfusion." Now, being fully transparent, I do not like needles. I am so scared of needles. I'm scared of blood work. So my husband had to go with me to get this initial blood work done. So I immediately said, no, I'll just start eating more greens and stuff, and I'll get a primary physician, and I'll follow it that way. But absolutely not. I'm not getting a blood transfusion. I will get my numbers up myself. I did it before. I would do it again. So I got a new primary because I hadn't been following up a primary since I had my daughter. And she recommended that I see a hematologist. Well, she actually recommended that I get a blood transfusion. And I said, no, not going to do that at this point. Sent me to see a hematologist. Well, actually the urgent care team also had recommended for me to see a hematologist. So I had an appointment for hematology, but that was a little bit out. So I saw my primary first, and she was like, okay, well, go ahead and see hematology, see what they says. Saw the hematologist, and also since last year I turned 45, so I was supposed to be, at this point it was before my birthday though, but scheduling colonoscopy. I have a history in my family. My dad had stomach cancer. And on my mother's side, my maternal grandmother had lung cancer. My paternal grandfather had bone cancer. So it was really important for me to get screenings. I hadn't had a mammogram at this point. You're supposed to get it when you're 40. Because I'm just like fearful of like tests like that, especially since I lost my dad to cancer. And I know that sounds kind of nuts that I wouldn't be proactive and get screenings, but I just didn't. But fast forward last year, I started taking all these tests, just to rule things out, and just taking control of my health. And it feels good that I'm taking control of my health. But anyway, when I saw the hematologist, at that point, I think I was around, my hemoglobin was still low. It was maybe like an 8 or 9. So I was still anemic. But a factor that he said was that because I'm pescatarian, I'm not, and based on what I told him about like my other, like how my diet is, that I'm not getting enough protein, and I'm not eating enough iron-rich foods. And then with my cycle being sporadic and long one cycle, and then, just going through that, my hemoglobin is suffering. So I've been following with a hematologist. Like it was like every month. But now my most recent numbers were good. So I'm at about a 12. My hemoglobin is back into the normal range, but my iron stores, my ferritin and iron binding capacity, like all those other numbers are a little bit low. So I do still have to follow up with him, and I actually have an upcoming appointment with him to see what my numbers are looking like. But yeah, about maybe a month and a half ago, I ventured out and said, okay, let me go back to what I love at the gym, even though I don't love the gym, but I do love Zumba. Let me go to Zumba. And the first class, it kicked my butt. Oh my goodness. I was so tired. I had to like sit out for some of the songs, take breaks and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, at least I'm here. I remembered a lot of the routines because I had just one Zumba instructor. I like to stay where I'm familiar, so where I'm comfortable. So I went back to the same class that I knew, like the dances and stuff. And she had a couple new songs I didn't know, but I pick up like dances really fast. So I felt proud of myself in the aspect of me like remembering a lot of the songs after not going for a long time, but also me just taking the initiative to go. Even though the first time I went, I did not complete the whole class. I had to like sit down. I didn't leave the class though. I did like sit, and some people do take breaks. I did sit a couple songs out, but I completed the class in terms of like I stayed for the duration of it with breaks, and I did my stretches. And my Zumba instructor, like at the end, she empowers us by telling us to give ourselves a hug and a pat on the back for completing the class. So I completed it, but I did not do every song. So I think I skipped the following week and then went back another class and I completed the class and I felt so good. Like I took like a sweaty picture, posted it to my Instagram, and I felt so good that I completed the class. And that was a huge accomplishment for me because even though I haven't been needing to get my blood checked as frequent as before, it just showed me that that my hemoglobin must be doing well, you know. But some of the other things that I noticed that prompted me to seek medical attention too was that my hair, it was growing in gray, but it was growing in like straight. Like it was crazy. Like it was growing in like really fine. And I have really kinky, thick hair. I had that type of hair ever since I had hair, you know. But my nails weren't growing. That was crazy too, because I usually have like really long nails that I have really long, healthy, hard, very nice nails that I have to cut because I work with children. And even when I work in the hospital, I had to keep them low, but they weren't growing at all. And I'm like, something is off. But the fact that my hair was growing in straight was a telltale sign that something was wrong. And now that another thing that I noticed now, that I have my hemoglobin and my iron levels up and like I'm eating more protein rich and iron rich foods. I've noticed that my nails are growing. Ooh, nails are growing. And oh my goodness, my hair is back to growing thick. Like, woo, it seems like if you're a natural, because I'm natural, if you're a natural, like if you ever transition from like a relaxer to natural, that's what my hair is like now. So like my roots are really thick and coarse and just like luscious the way that I always had it. And I would never take that for granted. If I told my family, if I ever complained about my hair being just too thick and kinky, please slap me. Because man, when it was just so like dead and all that, I couldn't do anything with it. So now that it's growing back in, it's like I'm transitioning from a perm. Like I've done like a big chop, a couple months ago and it's growing in, back, but like some of it is still like the old hair from when I was suffering with that really chronic and horrible anemia. Like it's still like straight on the ends. So, like the gray is still there. I put like a little bit of camouflage, so you can't really see the gray right now, but the gray is still graying. So I don't think that's ever going to reverse. And I was like looking up studies about if like iron deficiency anemia impacts like gray hair, and it's like inconclusive. So I don't know if that's just life and just genetics why my hair is graying so fast, but I know the texture is going back to the regular texture. So I don't know if that is something because of anemia, but I know that my texture is now back to how it's supposed to be, how I'm used to it being and healthy and everything. So that's my iron deficiency anemia journey and why like returning to Zumba and returning to just like my normal activity levels is like a milestone for me. But the journey was something extraordinary because I wasn't listening to my body at first. I just was like passing it off like, okay, I'm just stressed. Oh, you know, life is life, you know. But ironically so, now, oh my goodness, I did start to notice like about the end of last year, I started to get this left knee pain, and it was a struggle for me to get up off the floor with, you know, because I'm on the floor a lot with my little babies that I work with, like the ones that's not walking yet. You know, I'm on the floor a lot, and I started getting pain in my left knee. Oh my goodness! Went to see an orthopedic specialist, and I have moderate osteoarthritis of my left knee. So even though I'm taking Zumba again, now I gotta watch my knee. So, but it's okay. It's part of the aging process, and it's okay. I will work through it. I know how to do exercises for my knee to get it better. So, and I have been doing that, and I've noticed changes with my left knee. I'll probably do like a couple blog posts or Instagram reels documenting some exercises that I've been doing for my knee to help with the osteoarthritis. But I recently signed up my kids' martial arts school. They do mixed martial arts, so they do kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, MMA. They did, and they've been doing it for like 6 years. But this was my first year signing up to take the Mother's Day class. Took it with Raylan, my daughter, and that was tough. I was like, oh my goodness, my kids could really kick some butt, but man, it was tough. But the class, so I signed up for a month just to continue with it, and I'm doing good. And that's just showing me that my iron must be better because I'm able to do this class without getting winded. I mean, I am getting winded, but it's not nearly as bad as how I know it would have been when my iron was super low. So I rambled. I talk fast, so I've heard. So I hope that this episode resonates with someone to, if you're feeling off with your body or if you're feeling something isn't right, get checked out. But also it's important to do regular checkups anyway. It's really, really important to, especially as we get older, proper screenings, medical screenings could save your life when it comes down to it. So definitely get those screenings, get checked out, and set an example for your children. My children are watching. Your children are watching. Those little people, we have to lead by example. So if anything, if you don't do it for yourself, which you should, but do it for those babies that you have. And I still call mine my babies. It prompted my husband too to start getting these necessary checkups as we emerge into middle aged and being over 40, mid 40s at this point. It's important because we want to be here to watch our kids grow up and become grandparents and great grandparents. So take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, before I go, please check out future and prior episodes. RBV, the Milestone Whisperers, is the name of my podcast. Check me out on my social media. Same name, RBV, the Milestone Whisperers. But I also have a professional page where I share PT tips, RBV Physical Development. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And I'm on YouTube. So just find me there. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with others. Because I really love doing this, and I hope to touch other people with my journeys, and share other people's milestone journeys. So, really time to say goodbye now. Thank you for watching. Bye.